Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I am David Perlmutter, founder of QuantumListing, and very excited to have a special guest with us here today, David Malizia from SharpLaunch. And today we are going to be discussing how technology partnerships are changing commercial real estate marketing. And let me tell you a little bit about our guest, David. Hold on. There we go. There's David. So David is the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at SharpLaunch, and he's been instrumental in the development of their partner program. And QuantumListing is very proud to be a partner of theirs. And he has over 20 years of successful direct and indirect sales experience, and he brings new life to the sales organization by leading with compassion and teaching an empathetic approach to consultative software sales. One of the things I really like about David is that he's got a philosophy, and this is his philosophy. He says, remember, sales is not about selling anymore. Nobody likes to be sold, but everyone loves a superhero. So be the person who helps others with genuine empathy, and you'll never sell a day in your life. I think that's a beautiful sentiment, David. And when David's not onboarding new partners or providing sales coaching, he's a very active and loving father. On the weekends, you can find him around a campfire with friends, enjoying a great conversation. He also enjoys hiking, fishing, kayaking, running, lifting weights, a beautiful glass of wine, I'll drink to that, and riding his motorcycle. Hopefully the glass of wine and motorcycle don't happen in that order. And in fact, he even says maybe not in that order. David, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Great intro. I feel like I couldn't have written that any better myself.
Thank you.
So I'm really happy to be a part of this this webinar today. I'm really excited about the conversation that we're going to have, and it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know the team at QuantumListing and to be able to work with you all. So thank you for having me.
Yes, and just so that everybody knows all the players here, Julia, who will be chiming in and moderating us and keeping David and I from digressing too much, is QuantumListing's customer success advocate. And just to give you some of my own bona fides, in addition to having started QuantumListing, I am a commercial real estate broker, like probably most of you out there. I still have my brokerage company, Perlmutter Properties, and still love doing commercial real estate sales and leases, and out there canvassing just like everybody else. And I've been a commercial real estate developer, having developed 1.3 million square feet of mostly retail space. And so now I'm a broker / tech entrepreneur. So welcome everybody. And if you have questions during the course of the webinar, please put them in the chat, and then hopefully at the end we'll have time to have Q&A and where you can unmute yourself. All right, that's me, by the way. And so let's get started. David, I think this first one's probably good one for you to field. Can you tell us about SharpLaunch?
Yeah, so very simply, SharpLaunch is a proprietary commercial real estate software platform, and our history goes back nearly 20 years, and we've been founded on the belief that we could build a better service for our clients based on specific needs and requests. So to kind of summarize that, we came out of necessity when my CEO, who had our sister company at the time, kept getting requests from other companies to provide, specific software use cases. So email marketing campaigns, dashboards to show where leads are coming from, a more streamlined marketing process, and even a document portal that we can host on our site. So it's a really great company. It's been around for almost a decade, about a little over 6 years now, and it's just a really exciting time for us to be in prop tech right now.
That it is. It's a booming.
And for all those on the webinar, I believe we said this earlier, but we will have the opportunity to see SharpLaunch's platform later on. So we're looking forward to David showing us that, and so stay tuned.
Yeah. And for those of you that are new to QuantumListing is a commercial real estate listing service. It is a crowdsourced service, so that means that we rely on you to add listings to the platform. And one of the great things, and this comes from my experience as a broker with other listing services, that as a broker, I want to have as many people see my listings as possible. So when we built QuantumListing, we did it without any paywall to see listings, or having people, we don't require you to register to see listings. So we get a ton of traffic to your listings and to your profile directly from Google and other internet searches. And that's the way it ought to be. And we keep on growing. And one of the ways that we keep on growing is that we've started doing these wonderful syndication partnerships. Now, SharpLaunch has been syndicating to us for well over a year now. And we've been trying to get them on a webinar for a long time, and we were very fortunate to have David be able to do this, because SharpLaunch creates, with SharpLaunch you can create wonderful websites and marketing material. And the beauty of using a service like SharpLaunch is that you're able to syndicate your listings to us without having to do redundant data entry. So once you put it on SharpLaunch and connect your SharpLaunch account to QuantumListing, you're able to seamlessly have your listings show up on our site and any of their other syndication partners' sites without having to spend a lot of time managing your information anywhere other than on SharpLaunch. So that saves you time, so that you can really focus on canvassing, putting out those letters of intent, closing deals, and all the things, and getting new business. So that is where the whole thing sort of ties together. So we've come up with a few questions that we'd like to answer today. And this first one is, what is the importance of partnership in the industry? David, do you want to take a swing at this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things to think about, and when I come into the office, what I'm trying to think about is how we can provide the most value to our clients, right? And that's either indirect or direct clients, either way, right? And we believe that the number one most critical factor for high performance commercial real estate teams is efficiency. And that means that if we can provide ways for you to kind of not cut corners, but make things a little bit more efficient so that you don't have to do multiple things over and over and over again, your days are going to be spent more productively. And so partnerships within the industry are super, super important to create those efficiencies, especially since, we may be very, very skilled at certain areas, but we don't necessarily want to be a listing platform. So the best way for us to be able to provide visibility to property sites, or to to get leads or do lead acquisition for our clients, is to partner with companies like Quantum Listing, where again, as David mentioned, you build a beautiful, sophisticated property site with our company, and then with the click of a button, it goes live on our site, but it also goes live on our syndication partner sites as well. And there's no additional steps that you have to take. All the data is aligned properly, and it just really, it just kind of completes the whole picture. Right, so that's why partnerships are super excited, super important in this industry, and things that you should be considering when you're working with different platforms.
You're absolutely right, David. And it's for us, we do one thing, and I think we do it well, and that is provide a platform for brokers to post their listings, search for listings, share their listings, and one of the things that works with these partnerships is that the brokerage community can sort of pick the best in class in each category of the technology that they want and have a tech stack that works for them the way that they work, and they can decide how much to spend and when they want to spend that money. And when with Quantum Listing, you can do things like advertise on the Google Display Network. So we help you with lots of marketing tasks also, but we sort of stick to our lane when we can, and we love being able to share great technologies like SharpLaunch with you, so that you can decide, is this going to be something that will enhance my day-to-day workflow and make me more productive? And
yep.
So I think that that's great.
Yeah, one other thing I would love to add there, for my conversations, with brokers and marketing professionals in commercial real estate, is people have so many choices and they're overwhelmed with the amount of platforms to use. So rather than feeling like you have to choose between platforms, one of the beauties of the partnerships is the fact that you can do both simply from one platform. And we're trying to make you guys make less decisions so that you guys can get back to doing what you do best, making deals and calling leads and prospecting. So that's something that in my conversations, I know people very much value about the partnerships and syndications that exist in the industry.
And additionally, and I apologize, David, I didn't mean to jump on you. Additionally, the great thing about what we present to our clients and to your clients as well is a way for you to see how effective those different platforms are working. So you can actually see where leads are coming from and be able to say, okay, I'm going to invest more time and more effort on this particular platform, or by creating more buying more AdWords or whatever it is. So having that type of insight in one location is super important, and it is something to be considered when looking at different tools.
Yeah. So one of the, I guess, we keep on talking about syndication, and obviously we're not producing episodes of Seinfeld, although it would be fun to. What you may be saying to yourself, what is syndication in the context of commercial real estate and commercial real estate marketing and listing services? And syndication basically means that you're like a company like SharpLaunch contains your listings, and they have a menu of other websites like Quantum Listing that you can choose to share your listings with. Some of them are fee websites like Quantum Listing, where we charge you a ginormous $89.99 a year for the privilege of sharing your listings on our site. And there are others that will post the listings for free, but they have other nobody's in this just as a hobby. They're all businesses, so they have other ways of making money. But the nice thing about working with SharpLaunch, you can pick half a dozen different companies that you want to share your listing with. back in the day, there was just CoStar and LoopNet, and those were the only places where people would go to see your listings. And as they've changed their business model a little, and I don't really want to dwell on them too much, it created an opportunity for companies like ours to develop and to make your information more available and more open to the world at large, rather than just to brokers and other people that paid for those services. So to the extent that you work with somebody like SharpLaunch, where you can syndicate your listings to a variety of companies, you're adding the information once and you're distributing it very widely, or as widely as you choose to, and you can decide, how you want to deploy your time and your money. So, and again, you'll see where the results are coming from, and as the time goes on, you'll make the appropriate shifts. So let's keep moving on. I guess let's pause for a moment and just, if anybody wants to add a question in the chat or want to unmute themselves, please do so now, and then we'll keep on moving on. But our next prompt is, how have you seen the market change over the course of the last 5 to 10 years with the introduction of prop tech as a whole? And I guess I'll start out with this one. 10 years ago, property technology was somewhat limited. There was, the CoStar and LoopNet. There was, Property Shark. There were some demographic services. As Google Maps and other things became available for free, there was, I used to, when I started out in real estate back in 1986, if I wanted an aerial photograph, I had to get a guy to fly an airplane and take pictures. And now, it took time and it cost money. And now I can instantly get that information. And it's free. So that's a good thing. So that was sort of, it's one example of the changes, but now there are services that will help you, not only create your leasing and sales collateral and to share it to the market. There's technology that's geared towards every single step of the deal cycle, and there's things where you can get services to do interior 3D photography. You can get services to do measurements with little robots. There's virtual staging of not just homes, but virtual staging of office space now as well. So the way that real estate is presented to the public has just developed, so much thanks to technology, and most of it is, it's fairly intuitive if you've used some, tech before, and you get to decide how much you want to spend and where and when you want to spend it. David, do you have anything to add to that? So there's now like 6,000 or 8,000 different real estate tech companies out there, sort of plugging every single hole in that you might find. David, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that, from my experience, we're seeing prop tech emerge now, sort of the way that, residential real estate market has utilized software and different tools that are more digital based. And it's fascinating because it's two totally different worlds, right? I mean, you're talking about a $300,000 deal for a house versus a $3 million deal for an office space. And so there's a lot more that goes into it. And what we're seeing is a transition from a lot more of the manual work in the digital, creation of 60-page OMs or confidentiality agreements that have to be faxed over, signed, and then sent back, and all of that other stuff, where people are sitting there going, we just want to be able to provide one group of people access to these certain documents where they can go in there, and if we make changes, those changes are in that folder that they can see, and we don't have to resend it out and have it come back and wait a week or 2 or 3 until something happens. Or let's say that there's a challenge with Microsoft Word and we have to re-sign things. Like the market's heading more towards that direction, and it's just really it's a really fast pace. So it's going to be one of those kind of rocket ships that just kind of it's going, and it's just going to take off.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that a lot.
Yeah, when I started in commercial real estate in 1986, like the fax machine was a novelty. I think I was the only person in my office that had a computer on their desk, and now the fax machine is kind of a anomaly. People just email documents or Skype them or any number of other services to get documents from one place to the other. And you're not only do you have a computer on your desk, but you walk around with your smartphone, which is 100 times more powerful than what got Apollo to the moon. So it really is amazing over a relatively short period of time the amount of technology enablement we've gotten, and as more and more digital natives, people who are younger than me, who were born with a cell phone or an iPad in their hand, rise up the ranks in our industry, technology is just going to get more and more important, and as it gets more traction and more adoption, by everybody, and old guys like me, need to get on board with that. Otherwise, we'll become yesterday's news. So here's a interesting question: how does SharpLaunch and QuantumListing work together? And the follow-up is, how do they help each other? David?
So it's as I mentioned before, it's been a privilege working with QuantumListing and the team over there. We value that partnership so greatly, and we as we do all the partnerships that we have, because it provides us an opportunity to provide more benefits for our clients, right? We are able to syndicate to them. We're able to also create more brand awareness, and there's also brand continuity across the platforms. So when one of our property sites is built, there's the logo that's there, the colors, the font, that's all put together, and it's kind of painstaking on our end to do that in order to match the commercial real estate industry standards for each individual client. And when we partner with someone like QuantumListing or some of the other partnerships that we have, we're able to transfer that information and that data seamlessly. It's super important that we do that, and it provides additional visibility and marketing for our clients, in either direct or indirect. Other ways that we work together are things like this, where you scratch our back, I scratch your back. We do marketing together. We do email campaigns together. We talk about what the focus is, because the client is really the focus at the end of the day. Well, how do we get the most content out there for each of our different companies? So that's really what it comes down to, and so far it's been really successful.
And for us too, one of the things that we take pride in is having up-to-date information. So for people who are visiting our site, or people who are members and also searching our site. The first thing I learned in my brokerage class was, our time is our stock in trade. So to the extent that the information you find on a listing website is outdated or maybe outdated, you have to spend your time verifying it before you send it to your customer. You'll see something that was, that's on the site, and if you just send it to your customer, is it available really, or is that information accurate? And the nice thing about these syndication relationships, like with SharpLaunch, is that people keep their listing collateral accurate. And SharpLaunch, not only are they syndicating, but they're also powering your website. So most brokers, want to keep their website up to date, and then when they get around to it, they send it out to sites like ours. But if you're doing it on SharpLaunch, you're doing it once. You don't have to go to each listing site that you're syndicating to and update that, because it's getting done automatically and in real time. So that makes you look better, because and you're not wasting your time fielding calls about when somebody says, hey, is such and such still available, and they say, nah, where did you see that? I sold that 3 years ago. That's not going to happen when you use this type of syndication service, and a company like SharpLaunch that provides this sort of world-class collateral for your marketing purposes.
Yeah, it's that example of having data seamlessly transfer back and forth, and not having our end user have to worry about it, is a really great example of kind of the direction the market's going.
Yeah, and with QuantumListing, if you're a premium member, you get to see the analytics. So you'll know how many people are viewing your listing on our site. If you get a lead, you'll get it emailed to you right away. You can use the service to blast your emails to people, your listings to people. So there's lots of ways that once you start adding your information to a service like SharpLaunch and then syndicating it to us, we can make your information go further together than it would go if it was just you flogging it yourself. So
I think that's well said. One thing I just wanted to add is I think it's a nice way to think about it is that it's very much a complementary relationship, where SharpLaunch is, creating this amazing content, and we're the marketplace that it gets seen at. So we're very much just working hand in hand together in that complementary way. So I think our next question, I know there's a large range of people on this call in terms of there's some solo practitioners, there's bigger brokerages, but we did want to make sure that we cover, do you have to be a big company and a big company with a marketing department, let alone to syndicate? David M., do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, absolutely not. We work with, entrepreneurs and people who are just leaving other larger companies to create their own brokerage firm, because the economy has been good for them, and they may have one or two different properties that they want to list, and we also have larger brokerage firms that have hundreds or thousands of properties, and so it just depends on the type of customization you're looking for. We do a really great job of making sure we do a lot of education around how to create the property sites, as well as how to syndicate, how to utilize all the services within the platform, and that's all part of the onboarding process.
Great. So you can just be a one-man show and still
absolutely
get a lot of value out of this.
Yeah, it's interesting because we really do. We treat every single client the same way, whether you're a large, CBRE or a JLL or Cushman and Wakefield, or you're a Susan Horowitz. You know what I mean? Like we would love for all of you to take a look at the platform and see how we can work with you.
And hopefully we'll do that in just a moment. I'll tell you what. I'm going to turn this over to you, but while you're grabbing the screen, David, maybe you can answer one last question, and that is, what is the onboarding process for new customers if after watching your spectacular demo they say, "Hey, I want in on that"? How do you get from saying I want to do this to, "Hey, I'm syndicating"?
I'm really happy you asked that, and I'm excited to give a little demo here. I hope everybody has your popcorn and the Raisinets. The onboarding process is very simple. If somebody was to decide to utilize our platform, you'd be introduced to a client success manager that works on our team. That person would go through and discuss what your specific needs and criteria are. It's kind of a we hold your hand type of process where at the beginning we would even create the property sites or show you how to use the platform for a couple different sessions to make sure that it was done in the way that you were looking to have it created. We customize it as much as we possibly can while understanding it's built as kind of a templated form in order to make sure that there's continuity across the board. And if there's a customization that's going to take a lot of time and effort that not a lot of people are going to benefit from, we may have to say, that's not something that we're going to be able to provide for you. But for the most part, we're pretty flexible with that. And at the end of the day, the goal is to kind of, if you think about it like a driving school, it's kind of our client success manager is going to show you how to drive. Then they're going to sit in the passenger seat while you drive and kind of make sure you're following the rules and making sure everything's good. And then at the end of it, we're saying, okay, now you go off and do it yourself. And if you need our help, we're always here for you. So like my contact information is my direct line. You can get in touch with me at any time, and you can certainly reach out if you have any questions or concerns.
All right. So David, would you like to take us through SharpLaunch now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here we go. Let me know that you can see my screen.
Okay, not yet. Hold on. All right, I can see you. I can't see your screen yet. Hang on, let me see if I'm gonna send you a little thing that where? Oh, there it is. Okay.
I clicked on the button. I think it's just taking a second to load up.
All right, we're good.
We can see it now.
Great. So this is just our company website. It's very it's attractive. We are actually going to be revamping and releasing a new website that has a lot more to do with kind of our syndication partnerships, our technology partnerships, and everything else. So you can take a look at that as you're going along. But this is kind of a good kind of like just a high level overview of kind of what we do. I'm going to show you an example of a company that we work with. This is an indirect client of ours that was brought over from a partner of ours. And as you can see, this partner actually built their company site out for them. This partner is Connect Media, and they built this company site for them. And what we did was we integrated a property search engine for them, which is a listing of all of the different properties. If I click on properties, I actually already had it up, but if I click on properties here, now all of this that you're going to see is actually all of SharpLaunch now. It is a listing of all the different properties that they have across the country. It's an integrated map, so you can take a look at it and see kind of where you're based out of, because they have properties all across the country. And you can then go in and take a look at all of the different properties one by one if you wanted to. So this is a property search engine. And what we've done is we've actually white labeled this here. So if you take a look at this and you go down, it's going to see site design, connect creative. That is Connect Media's site. So we are able to white label these so that it's consistent across brand, right? We don't want to have our brand everywhere. There's no need for that. So if it's something that you're looking to do, then we can certainly do that. And when I click into this, I'm going to see a property that has been built out for us. It's a templated version, and what we do is we kind of go through the process of building a property site for each of our clients to see, which template they'd prefer. And typically, what will happen is once a company decides that this is a template that they're looking at, then they'll tend to they'll just make a copy of that template and continue to go through. So here we go. This is the property site, just like this. You can see some of the different availabilities and everything else. This is not a completed property site, but you can see how this gets taken care of. So I'm going to close this out now, and I'm going to show you a demo site that we use to make sure that you can see kind of all the different features that we can create for you. This is in Telecenter, based out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. You can see a beautiful hero image right here. We've got the building overview, which has all the data for the building, property site, lot size, what type of building class it is. We put this all together for you. We show an overview. We do the property features. And of course, before any of this goes live, our client success manager will walk you through it and make sure that it's up to snuff for what you're looking for. We do have a partnership with Matterport, so we are able to pull in 3D space virtual tours, which is very simple. I just click on this button. It takes a second, and you're going to see the Matterport virtual tour start up here. I think that it's taking a second because of the delay with the data feed. Here we go. And so this is the actual, this is an example of a virtual tour, but this is super helpful, especially with COVID, where people weren't able to go into different office spaces. You're able to do a 360-degree virtual tour through Matterport. We love having this partnership in place because it's helpful in showing off the different properties that we have. So now, we can do a lot of other things. And again, this is all modular. So availabilities, let's say that you have a property that doesn't have specific availabilities, we can take that piece out, or we can move that piece to the bottom. Let's say that you have a video tour that you want to do. A company has spent a significant amount of money on doing videos. We can absolutely house those here. Different pictures here, which really show off the properties themselves. And this is our integrated amenities map. Now, this is a really huge feature for a lot of our different clients, both indirect and direct. These clients love the fact that we can customize this amenities map to fit any of the needs. And it's really based on what your preferences are. This does not mean you have to sit and plug in each and every single one of these logos. We have millions of logos in our database. What would happen is it's a Google overlay. So we utilize Google to make sure that all the data is as accurate as possible, and that's up to date every single day. We go in, we pick out the different categories that we're looking for, and we can change those categories based on what the needs are. So if I didn't want any shopping or any banks nearby, I can click on those. I can click on gyms, get rid of those. Physicians, we don't want to see those. All we want to see is where there's a McDonald's and a Starbucks. So we've gone through, and all these logos are up to date, and you can clearly see that's where our location is, so that if you need to know where there's maybe there's additional competitors nearby, right? You want to show, let's say it's a behavioral health hospital, and you want to show where there's other hospitals nearby, you can put those in there, which is why we had physicians as an example. If we wanted to change the map type, we can clearly just click on this button. We have an aerial view. And one thing that you can do, which I don't always recommend, but it is a really fun thing to do, is the street view. If I click on this, it will lead away from our site, but it will provide you with a street view so you can see what it looks like in person, thanks to Google Maps. And then, of course, we've got the call to action both here on the bottom of the page and on the right-hand side where it says client login and then downloads. These are 2-3 different areas where you can do, you know, the downloads or client login. That's a document portal. If it was a, let's say you needed to have a resident login or a resident document portal, you could reassign that. Any document, any information that is acquired here gets given to you and provided to you. It is your contact. It is your lead. It is not somebody else's lead. We don't sell off these lists or anything like that. You would have exclusive access to those. So that's one thing that's super, super important. Any questions on that so far?
So I have a question. You know, if say a McDonald's closed and Taco Bell went in there, would that get automatically switched, or would that have to be something that I'd have to go in and tinker with?
That's a great question. The map does require that every once in a while you go in and you update addresses. What happens is it's a box, a form, and I can show you how that works. Where you go in, you do a search for different restaurants in the area. It'll give a list of different ones. You can pick and choose which ones you display.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's our front end right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick high-level overview of our back office. And this is really important because it seems like all of that stuff would take a long time for us to put together, and really it doesn't. It's very quick and efficient. It's very easy to use once you get kind of going through the onboarding and everything else. If I was to click on that, this is going to be the CMS that you would see. This is where you're going to be able to see how many properties you have, how many different types of listings. You're going to be able to take a look at all the different properties and really be able to see kind of where everything is. If you wanted to specifically go in and change things for one particular property, you can do that versus doing all of them. Pretty self-explanatory. So if I click on IntelliCenter, that is the same demo site that I just showed you. So any changes that I make are going to be in real time, which means that if I go in and I decide I want to remove any videos, I can do that. If I want to take out the Matterport, the Matterport virtual walkthrough, that's certainly possible. If I wanted to move that virtual walkthrough to be up at the top of the list, it's very, very simple to do. And when I when I log in here and go into this part of the back office, you'll see there's a dashboard showing where the leads are coming from. And these are specific to who has entered information in and who has come to your property site based on the based on where they are positioned and listed, right? So you'll see, did it come from LoopNet? Was it a Bing.com search? Did somebody go to Google.com? And if they did, that's most likely going to be an organic result, which is wonderful. We go through here and you have access to, really quickly have access to where leads are coming from. So you can, do your best to make sure you put them in your CRM or in your list of who you're going to be approaching. Now, see, if I go to the website design right here, this is where I talk about the modularity of the entire, the property site. Each one of these little blocks right here is where we're going to do our customization, right? If I want to do the building overview, I can move this to the third spot if I wanted to, just by clicking on this little arrow right here. I move that over to the third spot versus putting it in the second spot. If I wanted to take out the virtual tour or even the video, let's say I want to exclude the video, I click on that right there and save and publish. And then this is, as I mentioned before, in real time. All I have to do is go back to the site, do a quick refresh, and you'll see that this, once it's done, again, I think this is because we're on the GoToMeeting and everything, so my apologies for the delay. Hello?
Sorry about that. That was my phone.
And again, I took the video portion out of the site, so now we're going past the Matterport, and you'll see that there will be no video hosted here. It goes right from availabilities to the gallery. So all of this is customizable per your need, and depending on the property itself, you may have video for one but not have video for the other. Maybe you maybe there is a way to, you want to show demographics, you want to talk about what tenants are there, you can add in tenants, and then of course you can customize and add your contact form, downloads, and then any documents that you have. Documents are super, super important part of this. This is one of the main things that that we get asked about, is having a document portal. So as I mentioned before, there's that client login section of the website. I've just clicked on the document button right there, and it's going to bring us to our document folder where we can categorize and organize all of the documents based on who we want to provide them to. And then once you're able to, so you can see here, like construction photos, I can click in here and I can access them through our back office and update them as quickly as possible. And if I want to, I can take the settings and I can change this from public to private, which means that they're not going to be able to see them unless you're logged into the back office here. So if I go to here and I do a refresh right here, you'll see now the client login is no longer available. So that's something that is super important to a lot of our clients, and you'll be able to utilize that. I did see a question come up in regards to leads, and thank you so much, Mary. Appreciate your participation here. This is another area where it is very, very important for people. It's great to have a document portal. It's great to have access to listing platforms and everything else, but it's not good if you can't have any visibility into where leads are coming from. So what we've done is we've actually made it very simple to see, where leads are coming from. Did they go to a document portal? And if they did, who is the person's name? What company are they from? Where's their email, the phone? What did they do? Oh, they just registered for the document portal. Well, did they download anything? How do I know that? I can go in here and I can filter this out, and I can say, okay, let's see who downloaded a document, and let's see who is a broker. And I apply these filters, and now that wasn't a good filter to have. If I apply the filters, I can see who downloaded information. Right? And if that's the case, then I can click on that person and I know to contact them because they downloaded our confidentiality agreement. Well, they haven't submitted it back to us yet, so why don't we follow up with them and say, hey, looks like you were interested in this property. What can I do to help you move forward through here? And then, of course, in regards to downloading the information, you know what? That's a great question, Mary. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I do apologize for that. I don't want to play around with it and not know exactly where that answer is. So that is pretty much SharpLaunch in a nutshell. Obviously, I can go a lot deeper into the functionality of it, and I can talk a little bit more about some of the different things that we can do for you. It's going to be a little bit easier if we had a little bit of time set aside where we were able to talk more about it, but I've already been talking. I know Dave and I have been going on for quite a while. Would love to see kind of what everybody's thoughts are and go from there. So I'm going to stop.
Okay.
Screen share.
Well, again, if anybody has questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or post them in the box. I see that I'm going to take back this screen for now, and hang on. Okay. You can see. All right. So here are some scenarios that were cooked up by, I believe, Julia. Thank you, Julia. It says, scenario number 1. I'm a QuantumListing member and I'd like to use SharpLaunch. What is my next step? Well, you have 2 choices. One, you can contact us and we'll put you in touch with our friend David, or you can contact him directly, and he will give you a detailed one-on-one demonstration and catered to your every whim and need, and then see if it's a good fit for you. Did I miss anything?
We will be sharing contact information before you guys go, so don't worry about that.
Did I get that right, David?
Yeah, to be honest with you, as I mentioned before, we have a very symbiotic relationship. I would actually prefer that they go directly through you to us, only so that, we can know where everybody's coming from, and you already have a relationship with some of these people, which would be really helpful. And then that way, at the end of the year, I can celebrate the fact that you brought over $3 billion in revenue for SharpLaunch.
Excellent. Oh yeah, $3 billion is the low end of our estimate, David. You know that.
Do you mind terribly if I jump in real quick? I am taking a look at Susan's question. Thank you so much for participating, Susan. I appreciate it. Yes, you can electronically sign a confidentiality agreement, and you will also have access to a dashboard that'll show you who has signed the confidentiality agreement for you.
That's great. All right, so scenario 2. I'm a SharpLaunch member and I would like to use QuantumListing. What is my next step?
That's a really, really simple and easy question. All we do on our back office is we click on, during the website, we click on a button that allows us to syndicate our property listings right directly to QuantumListing, and then from there you would be contacted by the team over there, and they would say, listen, it's only $89.99 a year to get more benefits and features of the QuantumListing platform, which I highly suggest taking advantage of and getting the more premium features.
That's concise.
Did I answer that properly?
Concise and to the point. Well done.
Yes.
And then scenario number 3 is this is a sad scenario. I'm not a SharpLaunch or QuantumListing member yet. What are my next steps?
This question is a trick question. It's a transition into the David's contact information. So I'll save the two of you your breath. You've been talking for a long time.
All right. So here is David. And when we send out the replay, we will include David's, a way for you to get in touch with David. And but if you
David, let me add your email in the chat. Sorry, I didn't put that on there.
It's very simple. It's david@sharplaunch.com. Fortunately enough, there's not a lot of Davids that work for our company.
All right. And then
that is my personal cell phone. So, feel free to text me at 3 a.m. and say, hey, I'm interested in becoming a SharpLaunch client.
I'm going to ask you guys not to do that, because after working with David these past few months, he'll probably answer, because that's how hardworking he is. So wait till 8 a.m.
East Coast time, please. All right. And if you want to get in touch with us here at QuantumListing, you can email support at QuantumListing. You can email me directly at david@QuantumListing, or Julia at QuantumListing. And of course, you can call us. There's our toll-free number, 844-QL1-LIST. And of course, there is the schedule a demo button at the top of QuantumListing. We love walking you through the website and talking to you, and we inevitably find you inevitably give us a good idea of a new feature to add. So it's just as good for us as it is for you. There's an intercom button at the bottom of our screen, and you can always check that out. And then participate in webinars like today. So we're here for you. And I think that brings us to the conclusion of our program. David, I want to thank you for your time and effort, and also Bob and Nesca and the rest of the gang at SharpLaunch for being such valued partners. Julia, I obviously have to thank, I want to thank for all the work that she puts into putting these webinars together for us. And of course, I want to thank you, our members and guests who are generously giving us some of your time. And we hope you got something out of it for your time. And we hope to see you again real soon on another webinar. Did I miss anything before we say goodbye?
You did forget to tell a dad joke in the beginning of this call.
Yeah. All right. How do you catch a unique cat?
A what?
A unique cat.
A unique cat?
Yes. Unique up on him. How do you catch a cat?
I don't know.
Way, unique up on him.
What's yours? Just so you know, like organizing this webinar, I'd be like, David, what do you think? Oh wait, no, not you. David, what do you think? David M, what's your dad joke?
Where do all of the dads keep their jokes? In a database.
Oh. All right. So.
All right, my friends. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Sue, really appreciate your questions. And hopefully we'll be able to talk soon.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.